It is Valentine in the morning. This is 102.7 KISS FM.
Here in Los Angeles, Joey McIntyre lands a role in the TV show Boston Public
It was by my good graces that you didn't fail the paper.
and continues to work on his own music career. His inspiration would be a beautiful young woman named Barrett, his real estate broker.
Could you ever love me that way?
When I moved out to LA to do Boston Public, the place that I rented was, the address was 809, and then my real estate broker at the time was Barrett, okay? So I met her, I was her first client actually, and we met through business associate, and we realized that when we sort of hit it off, we had fun. I mean, she had a great sense of humor, and we laughed and hung out and got in the car and drove around and checked places out, and we found this place. I actually had this beautiful little cottage a few blocks away from the beach, and then there was this other place, sort of like a old captain's wharf place, but I loved it. It had a lot of character. It was cool, but it was run down. If I picked a rundown place, I don't think I'd be married today to Barrett, but I had this cute little cottage on this walk street that was beautiful, and I remember asking her, I said, would you come, like, if we were hanging out, like, you know, if we were on a date, or would you come by? And it was very innocent, you know what I mean? Because we had just met.
Yeah.
No, I know, it seemed that way, but I was really concerned about that, you know, because I just got to LA, and I was like, would you come down to that house? She's like, I don't know. She was very, you know, she's diplomatic to, you know, in that way. So she was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I really like this place, but in the back of her mind, she's like, I wouldn't come to that shack, or, you know, at all. But anyways, I did pick this place, 809.
Joey and Barrett's real estate connection eventually became a love connection.
Had she been a fan?
She wasn't. No, she wasn't. I think she was more into. Ironically, we have, or coincidentally, we have very similar backgrounds in that I came from musical theater and she loved musical theater, and her and her sister were really singing more show tunes, and her sister was a ballerina and she was a dancer, and you know, they were into that kind of, you know, music. I mean, I'm sure she liked all kinds of music, but she wasn't a die-hard New Kids fan. Supposedly, I guess she was kind of, you know, smitten with Marky Mark back then, you know?
No.
Yeah. So I always try to rib her on that one. We started hanging out, and we were friends, and, you know, I had to convince her that they were dates. You know, eventually, you know, yeah, we were at a function, and someone said, how long have you been dating? And she goes, we're not dating. And I turned to her and I said, this is a date.
It would turn out that dates and numbers would play a huge role in this relationship. The house Joey rented was number 809, and the day they met was August 9th, or 809. Coincidence or fate? Well, the couple was married last August 9th, and Joey's new album is appropriately titled 809.
It's something I'm really happy with, I'm really proud of, and it's true to who I am, and the kind of record that I value as a person, and where I've come from, you know, as a person, and I tried to just make that kind of a record.
Were you able to bring a lot of inspiration from your new relationship into this as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I think when you're ready to really, you know, say you love a person and commit yourself and you know, put your heart out on the line, I mean, that's a vulnerable state. I mean, it's very, very vulnerable, and maybe it is for everybody, but for someone like myself who is sort of, you know, I think being in show business, it's kind of like a me thing, and you're always, you know, it's always about me, and you're very self-centered at times, and which is okay at different points in your life. When you're really ready to give over, you know, and say, I want to spend the rest of my life with someone, you get a lot of different feelings and a lot of different inspirations. So every day I would come into the studio, and my buddy Emmanuel, who I wrote the record with, you know, I just sort of just be like, blah, you know what I mean? You know, and we started writing stuff down and got a lot of inspiration, and you know, I'd say, you know, a good 70% of the record is, you know, directly influenced by my relationship and meeting my wife and getting married.
I'm so tired of hiding the truth. I love you.
The lyrics in one of the songs said something to the effect that you felt she said "I love you" too quickly.
Oh yeah.
Were you afraid in real life in this relationship?
Yeah. That song is called
I never get over you.
"Never Get Over You," which is actually the most vulnerable song on the record. You know, that last verse I think is I know you say I don't have to worry, but this time I got to know for sure. Because it's much better to be safe than sorry, you know, and you want to know, and you're very vulnerable, and can we talk, and you feel like, you know, you hang up the phone, and should I have said that, or should I not have said that, and I should have said more, and you know, I think Barrett was just sort of like, you know, she was sort of like going at her own pace, which was good, and she was true to how she was feeling, but I was sort of going, you know, 75 miles an hour. She was going about 45, but I couldn't help it. I mean, I just, when I'm feeling something, for better or for worse, I gotta let it out. Yeah.
Coming up, he could be a good dad?
I think so. I mean, if I'm not, I got a lot of people to answer to, you know. With my wife, you know, at the head of the, you know, the list.
The former new kid on the block talks about having some kids of his own when One on One continues.